take embodiment and divine living very sacredly. I have a high level of respect and honor, integrity, and wanting to be really in soul tribe. I say I don't have clients, I have soul family. Like it really is a soul reunion.
Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. And welcome everybody to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. I'm so grateful to be with you. We've got an amazing guest, and if sometimes you're like, man, I just keep trying to heal myself, and I feel like, yeah, I get shifts and things, start to happen new, but then it doesn't seem to be new. It seems like the same old story again, and this and that. You feel like you can't really fully land with an authentic way of feeling whole and well, and to live beyond just these healing after healings that maybe you've been getting energetically. Of course, I'm 404 them. I do them. I'm just saying, if you're looking for something that goes a bit beyond that and you want to truly live an abundant, wealthy life, financially included, of course, fully and totally, we're going to get into that today. How to be totally, fully embodied and be wealthy and live a millionaire lifestyle. The millionaire lifestyle. We're going to talk about those sorts of things from more of a spiritual rock star perspective. And so I'm really grateful for our guest, Sarah, today, that's going to be helping us with all that. Sarah, I'm so grateful you're here.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to be here.
All right. Yeah. I mean, leading into the show, I just feel the palpable excitement and energy, and we're both that. Let's go. I can feel it. And so, guys, you're just going to be incredible. So, Sarah, I don't, I probably did research your background a little bit, prior to this show, but I'm kind of a blank slate sometimes. Like I'm a channel, it goes right in and out. And then as people talk, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember I read that. So let's talk a little bit about your background to talk about what you do now. So what were the, some of the challenges or things you faced, like most of our guests, that might have led you to doing the work that you do today?
It's like for most, as you say, it's been quite the journey. And throughout my life, there'd been a series of what most, and I myself used to consider traumatic events. And it was through a chain of those events that led me deeper and deeper into myself. And knowing that if I can overcome these things, others can do it too. And it goes so deep in so many different layers. And it became this like, I like to think of the action step of healing. If it's in the ing, it's in action. So if you're in this healing process, it can become a loop and a perpetuation. And so I started to notice like you can have awareness and you can have belief system shifts, but really come into living it is where it's at. And so I dedicated everything going towards that. And in that process, it's like finding those that you can connect and collaborate with. And I take embodiment and divine living very sacredly. I have a high level of respect and honor, integrity, and wanting to be really in soul tribe. I say I don't have clients, I have soul family. Like it really is a soul reunion. And I didn't find that so much out there. It is out there, but I noticed in a lot of the kind of retreat spaces, there was still some ego, some competition, and it lacked scarcity mindset. And I was like, okay, I want to collaborate, but with the right people. And through coming in contact with William Tate and Eve Love, we together formed the Millionaire Lifestyle Path. And we'll talk more about that later. As most of us in this industry know, um, it can be hard to kind of take on this healing. We want to share it, but not wanting to take money for it and finding like you're worthy and deserving and balancing that. And so in the traditional models, it can be a lot of struggle. And the millionaire lifestyle path, we call it the red ocean and the blue ocean. Red ocean, there's a lot more competition. Everybody's posting all these things that keep you busy. But in the blue ocean, doing it in a different way. It's using those tools, but heading in a new path. And all of it together just came into this perfect alignment of knowing I don't have to do the hustle, the grind. I can relax into the flow, and from that, your purpose can shift into prosperity. And it's just become a great passion of mine, as you can tell. I can talk on these things all the time.
I know, I can tell you because you're like, let's get into
Yeah,
the meat right away. Like, I love that. And now you talk about, human and the way you spell it, right? Human meets being.
Mhm.
Um, so if we, yeah, I'm exuberant too, so I get it. But like, we slow it down just for a second like that. Like,
Sure,
what
yeah.
is that all about? The human meets being. It sounds cool. I'm like, what does it really mean? Yeah, you present like this idea of human meets being.
Yeah, so I got to human meets being through realizing we are humans having spiritual experiences and a spiritual being having a human experience. It's not one or the other, it's both. And when you find that bridge and you meet in the middle on that point, and your human meets your being, because we're not human doings, as it said, we're human beings. And when
Hmm.
I found that going within, I say the journey begins within, where your human meets your being. You find the balance between. And hue, we're like hue as in a spectrum. You know, it's a spectrum experience on Earth. It's a spectrum of all different types of beautiful individuals on this planet. And in the being part of it, the BE for me is the being is the embodiment, and the little IN and a big G for the big G source love God force, energy. So yeah, that's kind of what brought me to that.
Right, right. Oh, cool. I like that. So, yeah, that's a lot of times it can feel disconnected, I think, sometimes to people because it's like, I want to be spiritual and I want to get rid of my humanity, damn it.
Yes.
Because the human stuff is what sucks, right?
Hmm.
But first, the spiritual seeker it starts to feel that way, right? But the truth is, your human is amazing and your spiritual stuff is amazing and it's all one. It's all connected anyway. But like, like you're helping us help people find that wholeness of all of it. So I really appreciate that. I think that's probably has something to do with going beyond healing, right? Like the idea is like we're broken. We're these limited human beings. That's how we were told in Christian backgrounds. A lot of us listeners are from, and many other perspectives too. Like we were broken, or you couldn't, maybe you could get worthy, a thousand more whatever, Hail Marys or whatever, and so Hail Mary like in football, right? Like, you're gonna make it. Anyway, so it's almost impossible, to be perfect enough to really to be able to be the pure being that will get into heaven first of all. Like, oh, but then there are other beliefs that, but oh, you could get in if you just believe and have faith. But there's a lot of other ideas about that, right? Like, no, wait a minute, maybe not, so that's that control, that religions use. We always talk about, but then we have like, the idea of money, right? Then we go into money and it's like, well, God, to be spiritually like evolved and connected and have money, my God, you'll never get to the promised land doing that. And yet we have people right in the Bible doing it, right? Like that's what's so ridiculous. It's like so funny in a way, but his examples, right? Like Moses or whatever, like people right in the Bible, like that are showing you it, yet, oh, it's impossible. Like somehow we've believed it's impossible for ourselves, so many people, and especially to use our, healing gifts or to be, even if we're cosmic coaches or whatever it is, like to get out there and to think you're doing it for the money. And of course, but it's not about that ultimately, right? But like, yeah, but so we do different things, right? We go for certifications, we go get healings, like I don't know, I just feel unworthy, or oh, I got a health problem, or I got a relationship problem. We get healing after healing, course after course, coach after coach, and yet we're still at like 50 grand, or we're at 30 grand in our business, or whatever it is, or maybe less a lot of times, from the people I talk to. But so obviously, like there's a whole orientation shift I think that's needed more that people are starting to catch on to some, right? But like we want more of it, and I think like that's what your point. Like I'm just like packaging this whole thing, right? Okay, like so you're trying to bring all this juicy stuff to people, So, because wouldn't you say, like, in a sense, that could be a big mistake for people? Like, I gotta fix myself. Let me do all these things. Isn't
Yes.
that one of the things that I gotta, dare I say, like, we've all done to some degree? I know you've done it. I can feel it. Like, you've done that part, right? And so, like, how do we bring an end to that? What's the answer if we don't have to fix ourselves anymore? Like, and why don't we have to fix ourselves?
Yes, yes. It's like you say, I like to say, embracing the insanity of humanity. It's
Yeah, yeah.
allowing it to be more of a fun thing, to be looking at it lighter and not so serious. And there's moments for that, of course, but we're born inherently worthy and deserving. It's not something we have to earn. We're not expected to be perfect. It's not about perfection because how could we know joy if we hadn't experienced sadness? And somebody's got to play the role of one and the other. And it just takes shifting that perspective to a wider lens, a more all accepting and understanding, giving yourself grace and compassion, and others the same thing. As it said, forgive them for what they do not yet know, because we ourselves at some point in our life has been there. So when you really just come into living in that presence, it's like, for me, the true trinity is connection of the mind, bringing it into the heart, bringing the intuition, that energy up, and you meet in the middle. And through that union is where the clarity is. And it's where there's a lot said about the power of now. But with a lot of these things, there's a lot of perspectives on it. And what does that really mean? But really saturating yourself in the present moment you're in and not getting caught up in the loops of the stories. And as soon as you title something, I like to think of it like a pain pet. Yeah, right? You have a pet, you've named it, you're taking care of it, it's going to happily follow you everywhere. But you can give that pain pet, once you've identified it, you can give it into surrenderance, give it to God, give it to the universe. And then you don't have to take care of that. Then you can know the more you're pouring focus into that, you're actually keeping it active and alive versus going, now, my right now, I can do something about this and empowering the self. So,
Mhm. Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free meditate, make money meditation today.
yeah.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. So yeah, definitely. I love that the power of now. Eckhart is somebody I always lean on, my little YouTube videos from Eckhart and whatnot, and of course the books, but everything. But so yeah, I mean, yeah, it's interesting. What if we had been born and told you've already got it all. You're already whole. Like, what? How much different? So it's almost like we need a little bit of a rebirth ceremony, maybe. I don't know. What do you think?
Yes. Yes, it's quite a like kind of what led me to what I do, because the more experiential you make it, it's like a reboot to the system, and it can happen. If you think quantum, I love speaking quantum, and through quantum entanglement, like there really is no distance between time, space, energy, currency, flow, all of these things. The illusion is that there's some sort of separation. And I like to say, like, the analogy of the sun is shining, and when the light hits the earth, is it actually separate from the sun? Like, it's an extension of it, right? Like, it's not separate. It didn't send off and then disconnect. So we are the same thing. We are souls in a solar system from that light. We are still one with it. So the more we can reconnect to that, literally everything can become so much simpler. And I know it sounds like all these processes are so much, but it's when you stop doing all those things. That's why I call what I do as a techniqueless technique. And I love the paradox of it. It's like, let's simplify. Let's just, really be present with ourselves and our energy, and allowing the body to feel safe to have your energy in it again, because often we're scattered out into some past moment or the future, anywhere else, and your energy's dispersed. So the more you breathe it in and you make space for that to come in is where the clarity is. Like, thank God we don't have to figure it all out. But if we're just
Mhm.
inside of ourselves and that antenna is tuned, we can receive the message. Everything is there. There doesn't have to be a searching or a seeking in any of that. So I just find it so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, one of the impetuses for this show, in a way, like, well, sort of. I mean, part of it is like when I think about someone like Eckhart, like I always say, like, he didn't come up with a business plan or like I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna reach millions, I'm gonna do this thing, and I'm gonna be so powerful. No, he's like, oh, I feel a presence. It's guiding me to write this book. I'm feeling like this wants to get out to probably a lot of people. Maybe feels that way. Like he just followed the connection. You know, that's all he
Yes.
does. I mean, he you know, I know one of his publishers, and like he says Eckhart brags that because the publisher Mark one of the publishers Mark Allen, he always goes on about how lazy he is, and I do everything in my own lazy way and everything, and like because he kind of, you know, he's gets it, he's that kind of being. He's like, you know, and yet he's got a very successful publishing company. And then what he says with Eckhart, Eckhart says when he talks about how lazy he is to him, he says, I'm even. This is where Eckhart might have some ego. Now this is a kind of a joke, but it's it may be real. Who knows? But like he says, I think I'm even lazier than you. Like that's what Eckhart said to Mark. When people ask him to do things, he says, they say like deadlines and stuff. He says, "Well, I'll rush slowly." You know, or whatever.
I love that.
Like you said, it's so brilliant, you know. I mean, he's one of the few people that I think is about as real as you can get. Like, you know, there's a lot of people that you look at and you're like, yeah, some of this is real, some of it isn't, right? Eckhart, it's
Mhm,
like I think that's mostly all real. Like, this is who
mhm,
this dude is. He's amazing, and he's made tons of money. I'm sure. I don't know what he does with his money, but or how the money flows, but it's just interesting how much he's generated in so many ways and he's not in his head. He's just
mhm.
literally being present, letting himself be guided. I'm sure he has people doing the business stuff, right? Like, but he's not getting into that. He's just being himself.
Yes, and people often think of embodiment as some unattainable thing, like enlightenment, like that's something in the afterlife. Like, no, it's available to you now. It's not as complex and imperfection. Like, you don't have to be perfect with it necessarily. You know, it's that continual growth and expansion. And embodiment is really like one of my most passionate subjects that I love the integrative embodiment, and that's really the living it. You can have awareness, and that's great, but it's when you apply it, actually applying that to life and actually living it. And again, not about perfection, but just really in your authentic self and causing the least amount of ripples to the outer world as possible, of course, is the ideal, but it is obtainable. We can become deeper and deeper embodied. And I love to say, like, the journey is the destination. You know, we're often destination or at some point, some goal driven, but it's the process itself that really is the point in the journey of that, because there really isn't an end point. There's just another beginning where something new, and you can redefine, reinvent in yourself as many times as possible just to follow that passion. I say that's really the only mission that we have here is like be your own unique expression of that energy and follow your passions. And that energy is so supported.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, I'm guided to share these examples today. And then I think about Louise Hay. You know, she says,
Mm,
people ask her, "How did you do it?" And she's like, "Well, I just had fun, and I just followed my happiness, my joy." And um, well, did you come up with plans? No, I never had any plans. I never had any plans.
mhm.
I just followed what was joyful. Like,
Yes, it's exactly
like,
it.
the people that say that's all namby-pamby, you'll never make it that way. Well, there's examples of people that have done tremendously, you know, impactful things and lots of money and all that stuff. As a result, I always say with Louise, hey, she got started in her 50s, basically. I mean, like, people are like, oh, I'm in my 50s or 60s, it's too late now, or whatever age. I
No.
don't even care if it's 70s or 80s. It's like, you have the right attitude. You realize, like, you're, isn't, no, now, you know, like, even for me,
Yeah.
like, there's certain things that I'm wanting to, you know, experience in this life still. It's like, I'm like, I got at least 30 years left. I mean, minimum, like, you know, like I've got tons of time left. Some people only live that long and do all kinds of incredible things, right? So, like,
Hmm.
I'm like, you know, have that mentality, like you're just getting started, really all the time. Like, I see people that are even way millionaire and all that stuff that they still have the perspective. I think about Dan Sullivan. I don't know him personally, but like I followed him, and he still thinks he's just getting started. Like because it's
Uh-huh.
a beautiful kind of way of like approaching things. So when you talk about like integrative embodiment, I think about people like, the people I'm mentioning, like they
Mhm.
have achieved this, so to speak, but they come into this integrative type of embodiment. I know that's what you're helping people to do. Um, so I'm curious about that. What is integrative embodiment, though? How you would explain what that is, and then how do you help people to get into it? We'll talk about that afterwards. But what is it first?
Yeah. Yeah, so really what it means is it's that shift from the knowing to the being, not the knowing to a doing, but the knowing to a being. And that's when you're really living it. Because again, awareness is just part of the process. But once you're aware, then you have choice. And then what you choose shapes everything after that. And so when you become conscious of those things and really present in yourself, where you're fully inside of yourself and operating from that, where it's not like there, oh, because of this, it's gonna, I got to react this way or something. It's not really putting anything towards the exterior because just like a projection works, it shoots out onto the screen from the slide that's on the inside. So the same thing within us. So it's really coming into living from that space. And I love to make it a way more simpler and fun process. I like to kind of, again, paradoxically say, I can have fun being angry if I want to choose to have the emotion of anger, not being opposition to that. Maybe there's a rightful reason that your body is feeling that. So allowing yourself to feel and without it causing what I call energetic shrapnel, like you don't have to step on a bomb and then everybody gets hit by something. Like, no, let's not do that. Like I can put on music. I have a literally a playlist that's a little fire emoji. And if I want to move that kind of energy, I just put that on and dance. Or, you can have
Mhm.
peacefully be sad if you need to process those emotions. It's not being in resistance. Like I think of emotions like children. You don't have like a favorite, you love them and they may have different personalities and you interact with them differently, just like emotions. So why reject some of them when they're just wanting to be seen, felt and heard and loved and appreciated too?
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. I mean, that's such a great way to put it. I mean, I think recently I was listening to, what was I listening to? Somebody I was listening to was talking about, oh, it's actually my current coach. Funny how I don't even know. I'm like, who said that? Somebody said, but like, one of the many, many millions of techniques you can use for different things, but like, just taking that emotion and like seeing it like a baby, putting your hands and just hanging out with it. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
like that, you got that. But like, I've done that with, I've done that with emotions, where I don't make something wrong. Like sometimes, I don't know. I mean, my questioning mind would wonder about it, but like sometimes if I'm angry at somebody, I just share the anger. I just like, damn it, it's like this, and I like pound my fists on a table or something, and then
Yeah.
afterwards, people are like, "What the hell? You're yelling at me? Like I barely know you, like." Like at an event or something, like we were at a, and everybody would run for me if they ever see me at an event now. Like he pounds on tables. Oh my God. But like, like I would show this energy and I'd be like, I don't know, I just trust it. If that energy wants to come, that's when I'm doing my best in life. I stop questioning. I just
Yes.
let it flow. And let's say that person never talks to me before, but they'll never forget what I said. And they're like, that son of a gun, I'll never forget what he said. I'll never talk to him again, but it changed my life.
Right?
If I'm honest,
Yes.
right? And so like we get too attached, right? Like that's part of it. Like how are people going to think about, it's your own thoughts about yourself, right? First and foremost, but then it's, well, what will they think is a projection? Like what are they going to think? What do it's only what you're thinking, right? Like you can get
Yes.
past that. Like, no, this is a whole new, way of living where I can like, enjoy like all of my states rather than saying I'm supposed to just feel one with the one all the time, right? And like, because sometimes I think I get caught up in that too. Like, wait a minute, I'm feeling emotions. I haven't got there yet, right? Which I know better than that, but like that, those ideas are good around in your head.
Hmm. Yes. Yes. It's like when when others have, when we're thinking about what somebody else is thinking about us, often it's you don't really know what's going on inside of somebody else or what happened to them or what's their thought or belief until you're really present with yourself and that person and being able to know the difference, because if you start to think about and care what everybody else is thinking, you're really saying more about what you're thinking. Their thinking says something more about you than it does what they might actually be thinking. And granted, some of us are pretty intuitive and can feel and get a good sense, but
Mhm.
it's not about us to attach to that and to be able to be empowered and knowing our own truth enough that we don't have to become trying to convince or be, feeling rejected or any of those things. It's like you be your frequency and those that align with you, it'll all be what it's supposed to be, even if there's some kind of discord moment, exactly like you're saying, like that too serves a divine purpose. So not going out to try to do it on purpose, that's
Right,
different, but
right,
it just really the beingness is where it's
right.
all at.
Yeah, let me use whatever it is. Let me use my sadness to manipulate, or let me use my anger to get what I want to, and that's powerful. And yeah, like use all these little characters to basically, yeah, it's all manipulation, really, when you start using it like that, right? But rather, to let it be and let it express if it really wants to express, and
Mhm.
be more natural and authentic or whatever. I know I always get kind of laugh a little bit at that word because it gets overused sometimes, but
Oh yeah.
but like just to be real, I guess, or however you want to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I say, like, with what I do with people, it's not like I say, it's not a technique. It's a techniqueless technique. And where anybody that knows me know, I say, like, they're like, "What's your plan?" And it's like, I have a plan. It's called the no plan. Plan is my plan, but that doesn't mean I don't have intention and structure. But there's flow and non-attachment, and so it becomes more about sharing experience than trying to do something. So the experience itself becomes the transformation versus trying to make there be a transformation. It comes from total different energy when you're really just conscious, aware, present, embodied, and really knowing unconditional love can absolutely exist and you can absolutely be that and live that way as well, that is possible. And when you make a bridge for someone to cross over and meet you in that space is really where that lasting experiential transformation happens.
Hmm. Yeah. So I mean, just that one piece you gave is so yummy, right? Just reminding us we can love ourselves and love every state we're in, and like that alone, that wholeness we feel from that is phenomenal. And like then the no plan, like I said, as Louise Hay too, no plan. I
Yeah.
remember a speaker once, I won't say who it was, although I did have him on I don't know if I had him on here on this platform or it was my other platform, but he had talked one time way eons ago. He was like, you need goals, you need plans, you need to focus, unless you're someone like Louise Hay. And I'm like, then why are we studying about Louise Hay? If because he called her a highly evolved being. I'm like, then that's what we should be doing. We should be highly evolved then. And so he clarified that whole thought with me many years later when I had him on a show, but I forget how he put it, but like he had an explanation. But yeah, I think like I definitely have plans. I've got a whole sheet right here of plans, a review and everything. Because I find that it does it I've tried everything by now, 20 years in. I mean, I find like I do better with some plans.
Yes.
I have to have some focus and some plans, and I do need a certain amount of structure for me. I think
Yes.
we're all different too. Like I think some people might do better to be in the moment with everything. I know like I am an in the moment person. It's right in my human design chart, right? I
Yeah.
like to be in the moment. And so if I dishonor that, or if I dishonor structure, like if I go to one extreme or the other, then I won't be nearly as happy or as abundant or whatever. All the
Yeah.
things. But when I embrace all of it, like then everything works better for me. So I'm sure you
Yeah.
see that too, right? Like everybody's different in
Yeah.
their approach too. Like for you, probably no plan. It feels extremely liberating because you maybe had a lot of goals in the past, right? Like, let me guess, right?
Yeah.
And so like the no plan totally feels perfect for you right now.
Yeah, it's more of an energy than it is actually meaning like there's no schedule, there's no
Yeah.
structure. Like
Yeah.
there's definitely schedule. Some things you absolutely like today, let's meet at this time and do this. Like
Yeah.
that
Right.
that's not the no plan. It's
Right.
more
Right.
so in the non-attachment part of it. And it's absolutely a balance of moving through this 3D kind of world that we're in. There's certain moments those structures absolutely are in place, and it's being able to be in the flow. Like I think of it like a lava lamp, right? It's all flowing up in there and glowing and beautiful, but it's contained within a structure. It's got a vessel, and so we too can be like that, being in the flow, but within that structure. And that's really where a lot of the power and the magic of intentionally co-creating in life comes from. But being adaptable, being adjustable into what situation is happening and trusting there's a great reason for why that is. I'll often tell those that I have sessions with, I'll say like, now if something did occur and we have to reschedule, that knowing that whatever's happening that day for me is only going to make your session that much more powerful. There's some reason it's happening, and to
Hmm.
trust and allow for that flexibility. But otherwise, our intention is to absolutely
Yeah.
meet at this day and
Yeah.
time. But it's knowing that you can trust whatever's happening. Everything is always as it should be.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. And yeah, that's totally awesome that you're listening to that. Well, maybe we shouldn't be meeting today, or maybe someone else needs attention right now. Maybe it's not quite time for us to have that meeting. And like, yeah, I totally get that. I mean, definitely navigated that. I tend to just take the meetings nowadays, but like I've done it that way too, and I think it's really cool and to have people realize that truth that you just stated. Like, well, all meant to be, whatever it is, and so yeah, like that liberation, like rather than like the what I was thinking when you said that, I was like the client may be like desperate, like, oh my God, I needed my session, right? Like, oh my God, I can't be whole until I get the next session. Like I could see, some clients maybe feeling that way, maybe that work with you. And so yeah, having them realize, no, yeah, we can meet later. You're whole already. That's how I
Hmm.
heard that anyway with my intuition.
Yes. Yeah, and sometimes those, through the divine, we can either have divine shortcuts or divine detours. And
Mhm.
sometimes it's that detour moment that brings the little magic. I call it like a God scavenger hunt. There's some
Mhm.
interaction of some exchange that's going to add to those moments, and just
Mhm.
being able to trust that. Like there's been so many times in the past, as I mentioned, when I was going through, challenging moments and traumatic events where I didn't know and have a clear path forward. I knew it was time to go. I knew that. And even though I literally, for example, one miracle I love to share is I was using a U-Haul to move and I didn't have my car with me. I was leaving an abusive situation and I only had enough for a one night hotel stay. And after that, I had to return the U-Haul. And then what was I going to do? But everything in Divine said, go anyways. And get an hour from my destination at the hotel. And then I saw a friend visiting the same area I was at online, was like, hey, if anybody wants to meet, I'm available. Well, it turned out after I returned the U-Haul, they're just car camping and traveling, and they're like, if you want, you can hang out with me. And like 2 days later, a session came in to bring donations in. And right as I needed something, something would be provided. And I knew that I was put in that situation for multiple reasons. And through overcoming that, it really trusted that there is no unknown. The unknown doesn't exist. And once you trust that, because you can't trust and need certainty at the same time. That's not really
Mhm.
trust.
Right.
When you're
Right.
really trusting is really knowing and allowing and believing, like hope, faith, all those things. But really trusting is to not necessarily always have that certainty. And when you can do that is where a miracle comes in, and it's allowing us to have those experiences to see how supported we are and the blessings that can come in. And those strange detours of life can often be the most magical spaces.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just did another podcast today earlier, and the Gina Gabellini, and she just said this. was talking about the same thing, about this thing of certainty. But listen, we're not always going to be certain, you know. And we talked about trust, and I flashed my trust rock I keep up
Uh,
here. My trusty companion through this whole journey. Once I went into doing healing and coaching online and everything, like yeah, you know, especially in the beginning, I really need to focus in on that trust rock a lot. It's like, where are my clients? Where's the money? And all those ideas,
hmm
right? So, you know, it is. You're not going to always have a sense of certainty, but you can always you can always cultivate more of a sense of connection. And from
Yeah.
the connection, you build a sense of sense of like I trust, a sense of like oh, I feel like something good's happening. You know, like I feel like that might happen. I feel like this could happen. And like you start playing with the possibilities in the field, right? And then all of a sudden things start popping into the field, right? Like
hmm
oh, it's like we are one of those Disney Imagineer, you know, studios. Like, whoa, we got one of these here. They're popping into the field, and that's almost like that. Literally, is basically how it works, right? So
hmm
it is very magical, but and it's just like most of us don't trust that, you know. So if we could trust the magic that we are, we'd be experiencing that, right? I mean, so that's what's so cool about it. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm grateful, like how you point people into that. That's so wonderful.
Thank you.
Now you talk about the millionaire lifestyle. So I know it must be connected to what we're talking about, right? I mean, millionaire lifestyle could mean again, you're working 80 hours have a plan. You better do it hard and long and never sleep. Or, you know, there's also this thing that you call the billionaire lifestyle, which I don't think has to do with that sort of thing. So
Mhm.
let's talk about what this the millionaire lifestyle is all about.
Yeah, so I love to redefine what, a millionaire lifestyle means. And for me, it's about having more time, more energy, more presence, more shared experiences and shared wisdom and more impact and being able to have that time with friends and family and traveling and knowing that money is just a frequency. That's why it's called currency. So a lot of people give this whole thing like, oh, it's money, like it's just some, thing, but it's really currency and it's an energy and there's can be resourcefulness in that. Like I've been able to have amazing experiences traveling with no plan that I was going to end up in another country, no funds that were showing that was going to happen. And then within a blink of an eye, a miracle unfolding to make the way possible. So it's not so much just about money, but knowing that also, of course, that aspect does exist and we can work smarter, not harder. I always loved that statement. And you
Mhm.
can have more fun, more peace, more travel, more experiences, and be abundant at the same time while making impact in the world. And so for me, the millionaire lifestyle path is a path of where that purpose meets prosperity. So not only do you get to learn how to make impact in your lives, but you can help others be able to do that as well. So we work, it's kind of a very unique concept. We're building basically a whole new industry here with what we're doing with it. And so it's a unique connection where it's a triple win and with our, we connect coaches, retreat, and travel professionals with what we call your next door neighbor type of millionaire. It's not a flashy millionaire. It's somebody that's driving the same old beat up Ford truck that you would never know, just good hearted people wanting to make a difference in the world and wanting their family to be prepared for that. So often when there's a passing in the family, the children that's going to be the beneficiary, they're not prepared for that. All of a sudden you come into wealth and then they either, there's been stories with attorneys that we work with that, they've witnessed families just become destroyed with the inheritance after because they weren't prepared and they blew the money or, then they're drinking and doing drugs and messing up their health, and it's like, what good is this money if you're just going to blow it? It's a legacy and they want to have charitable causes and do philanthropy and you can travel and have transformative, meaningful experiences. And as a coach can go do that things with these people. You have what we call your flat folks, which is the financial, legal, accountant, tax, trust, professionals. they don't really do the emotional. They don't do what we call the woo. They don't do that part. They don't really go on a vacation with a family. They say a woman lost her husband. They're not doing the emotional work with her, and she's got these papers and things to do, and she's emotional. How is she going to process all that at the same time? But as a coach that has experience with mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, your whole well being, you become more, just more of a trusted advisor into the family, that it's a long-term relationship you're building. And that's a beautiful aspect. It's just kind of like William Tate, our co-founder, he used to be a Green Beret. And I love his analogy with that. It's like they sometimes do different positions and have different skills. They might do tech and they might do communications, but being able to cross train, you can become even more impactful and knowledgeable. So we apply that to the coaching world. You're just learning a new skill that even is good for yourself, even if it's not something you want to move forward with helping, these people. If you don't want to learn any of the flat language, to be able to be at least a liaison between the two and support system, you can still collaborate, with others that want to do that. Like say, for example, I'm not a yoga instructor, but if I knew a yoga instructor that was vetted through this program, I'd be able to partner with her, and then everybody gets to win and support each other. As well as for yourself, like I want to make impact in the world, and legacy is a great meaning to me. And through the legacies, I want to create foundations and do even more philanthropy, and learning how to set up and run my business properly and know like, hey, I can expense this retreat through my business, and knowing how to do all that, even for myself, that's really important skills to learn. But with that, I can guide others who have to be able to make more impact too. So we're redefining in general what that wealth means. And some of the older dictionaries, when you look back, wealth really equal to your wellness. It wasn't about a financial aspect. So we're kind of bringing it back to that and helping families be prepared, and support everyone, support each other. The flat folks, like they end up being supported with their clients happy, and then the clients are happy, coaches are happy, everybody wins. So we like to say with practically like just 5 dream clients, you can have your own millionaire business and get out of the traditional models where it's the marketing, the social media, the networking. A lot of beautiful things in that. We're not against that, but there's an easier way with those skills. You can advance yourself further. So we teach that and live and embody that ourselves. So yeah, it's like really passionate about this project that we're doing because it really interlinks well with human meets being, and the changes I want to make. So yeah, I'm very excited and very grateful of how it all unfolded. So again, divinely.
Oh, interesting. So it sounds like in part many things, but like to some of the pieces I'm getting from what you're saying is you have like a community that's supporting, each other in a way, maybe a way of being and living at one level, but also like there's like these protocols you can use too, right? Like, oh, there's 5 dream clients. Then somebody's listening and just doing quick math. They're like, oh, so you're saying get a $200,000 a year client, like, and that's what you're saying. Like, just just focus on the $200,000 a year clients. I mean, it's gonna make your life a lot easier. Work with the
Yeah.
wealthy people, and but that's not gonna be for everybody. But like, yeah, I could see like that would be very appealing to some people for sure.
Yeah, because with those clients, you can still help, everyone else too, like everyone's worthy and deserving of being loved and supported and nourished. But
Hmm.
just like William likes to say, like his grandma used to say, it's just as easy to fall in love with a rich man as it is a poor man. So same thing with clients. It's just as easy to help either one, those that have more or those that have less. And that's where we want to bring the balance back to all of that. And those being able to create, foundations to help more people. So it's like you don't have to work so hard, and um, it's a beautiful freeing because you can travel and you don't have to, but it's through learning these things both for yourself and helping people. Just so much beauty that can come from that, and with that abundance, you can make even more impact. So yeah.
So, I mean, one of the things with retreats and these sorts of groups is, yeah, like people come together, there's people who are very abundant and maybe at these retreats, and next thing you know, business is happening and like we're all supporting each other, and that sort of sounds like part of the model. If my business brains turn it on, I'm like, okay, because I've thought a lot of different business models through the years, but like
Yeah.
that's what kind of sounds like what happens is like these high level retreats probably and stuff. So
Hmm.
retreats are really really big right now. These sorts of, especially like high level retreats are getting more popular too,
Yeah.
where you might be investing, tens or thousands of dollars to go for a few days somewhere, and but the
Hmm.
network is your net worth and all
Yeah.
that sort of thing, right? I mean, that's what it
Yeah.
sounds like is part of it anyway.
Yeah, because it's like with most models, when you go through training and courses and stuff, you finish and then you're on your own, But with what we're doing, it literally is a community and a tribe and a family. We're ongoing support. You're not just like left on your own. And it's really about relationship building. We're founded in relationship building, trust, and confidentiality, honoring those connections. You can impact not only the lives of your client, but the next generations following and the next generation following. So it's really being able to help steward in this, wealth and wisdom and have families prepared. And why not do that while traveling, have beautiful experiences at the same time, where then you're creating something experiential that will last and those kids will have that meaning, like go travel somewhere and see foundations like Eve that works with us, our co-founder. She helps children in India. So say you wanted to bring a family to India and have their kids see the impact and feel the joy and the difference that they're making, that's a memory that lasts. So when they inherit, they're prepared and they know how to honor that or whatever causes they care about too. So it's a beautiful thing. And it's with the traditional models, there's just short-term connections most of the time. You don't have like an ongoing, continual, with their children and their children. But with this, that's possible to be able to do that and more rewarding. And you can still help the others and stuff too, but why not? Why not have more time, energy, travel, and prosperity and create meaning at the same time? It was a no-brainer for me.
Right, right. Yeah, so very interesting stuff. I think like these different models and whatnot. Of course, if the people are of integrity, they're running it, like is always the big thing because communities make people a little leery sometimes. Like, what kind of community is it a cult or what's going on? And so people have to kick the tires on that stuff sometimes for sure. But what I'm clear on, like as we talk about like from the context of who you are and why you would be attracted to that. It's all about, yeah, like the connection and all about the service to the wholeness and the wellness and the prosperity and the energies or whatever, the cosmic wholeness or I don't know,
Hmm.
all of the things, right? And letting that circulate through through movement, right, through getting out in the world and going on retreats and like all this delicious stuff and relationships and we're gonna nurture relationships for the next 20 generations or more, or whatever. Like, having that type of vision um, is a breakthrough model. Like that's not a model that probably exists, much, if at all, anywhere else in the world. So I'll give my hat off to that without knowing that much about me. I'm into the details. I'm like, well, let me listen more to, if I, I might listen more, if I was interested, like to learn more about what all that's about. But, as far as like what you serve, directly yourself, because you're a part of that and around, you're a part of serving that, but also, you're just here to help people as far as your own services yourself is you're here to help people realize they can, you know, be able to utilize someone like yourself that's done tons of study, tons of different things to be able to help others. Energy work, somatic practices, this and that. There's a million things you told me on our initial call when we connected. And so you play this role where you're being this, you call it a living transmission to others, right? And
Hmm.
so I think people could feel that on a when they meet you. Like there's wow, I feel uplifted.
Mm.
I say like people that smile a lot, that helps too, but like your energy is like is uplifting. Oh, it's really
Mm,
cool.
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's like so it's really finding what life is all about, having our purpose. It's a great mystery to so many people. What's my purpose? And it's giving purpose. It's you get to decide what purpose you want to have. And I feel like it's a great part of my purpose to just to I say just to be love and make impact and create legacy and help others do the same. Like that is just my purpose. It's everything I live and breathe and know that I'm absolutely here for is just being here, being me, and sharing that love and that upliftment. And I've always had a big loving, giving heart. Sometimes some people would say too much so, but it's I understand, but it's also honoring yourself in the process. But yeah, I'm incredibly grateful to be able to share this purpose with others.
Now, you talk about just briefly, I'd love for you to talk about how you do this prophetic painting. It's because I've never
Yeah.
heard that particular phrase exactly.
Hmm.
So you do prophetic painting and personal journey play and all this stuff like so yeah, I mean, what is this painting and play stuff? I mean, like it's like you know what I mean? Like it's fun because it's a whole different thing. Like, we're gonna come up with your 10-point plan for success. And you're like, it's this prophetic painting, and this we're gonna play it. Yeah, play. We're gonna start playing or so. So tell us more about your again differentiating your approach versus other people that are out there doing other type of systems and whatnot.
Yeah. So to start with the painting, yeah, it's very fascinating to me. I'm still mind blown every time that I think of it, speak of it, see it. So when I was about the age of 15, and I was just sitting in art class, and the assignment was just, fill up the white space on the paper, and I did my painting, and it didn't really mean anything to me at the time. It was just random painting in class. But as they say, for whatever reason, I held on to that. And in 2019, I had moved to California, and my angels and guides were bringing me back to this box of my old stuff. So it's right before COVID happened, and they're like, "Go through this box." And as soon as I started, bringing all these things out, things from my childhood, all these puzzle pieces started coming together in my mind. And when I saw the painting, something clicked. It was like an activation of remembrance. And I saw it and I was like, oh my God, this is everything happening right now. This is what this shift in consciousness is about. And it goes through, it can go really deep on the painting, but it's very much about this shift in consciousness, how we're really moving up an octave and dimensional reality, and what that really means, like moving from like a four cube matrix system to more of something spherical, harmonic, a balanced system. And our bodies, minds, hearts, souls are elevating and shifting through this consciousness that's coming in. And it's like a whole pathway. Literally, there's boot prints on the ground that go from one side to the other, where this veil kind of, you go through the veil into this other side. And there's so much symbology of things that there's absolutely no way I would have known about at that age. And it was like a remembrance of other ancient lifetimes I've had with, like, for example, when I was in Egypt once, an Egyptologist confirmed I was speaking ancient Egyptian. Like I was just started singing and sound toning and speaking. And later she was like, I could translate word for word parts of what I was saying. And I'm like, whoa. And some of the pyramids are painted on my painting. And I ended up inside of the pyramids on my painting with no even plan to go to Egypt. So, I mean, I always wanted to go there, but when I ended up there, it was not in my plan. And it's just a miracle. And every time I decode more and more of it and research into it, it's backed from like ancient, prophecy and through quantum, mechanics, quantum physics, like, and so many different aspects, even like religion and spirituality, like all these things back up all what's in the painting. And I just am continually decoding it more and more. And it goes really deep because there's a lot of symbology on there of what it's about. It could almost be a whole podcast about the topics on
Right.
that, which
Right.
maybe
I'm
we do
sure.
that sometime. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
really fascinating.
is the painting a physical painting too,
Hmm.
or yeah? Okay. All right. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah, it's a real painting that yeah, I held on to and I lived in Florida and I moved to California with it. As soon as I saw it, I was like, wow. And
yeah.
interesting enough, like other childhood items I had were also messages I was getting about recalling past lifetimes and it was all interconnected. So all these pieces came together and then I ended up unexpectedly moving and traveling around the world basically from 2020 until 2025 just constantly the moving and traveling and having these incredible experiences. So it's a huge part of the transmissions that I share is just sharing the testimony and sharing that presence and sharing that story and that journey and the activations that just naturally come from it. That there's this abilities that I have with when I hear sound and say sound, it's like the sacred geometry and I can see it like these little puzzle pieces that go into everyone, right? Exactly what anyone needs. It just is absorbed in to kind of have activations and remembrance and grounding and peace and love. And it's just
Mhm.
very experiential.
Oh, okay, fantastic. Well, I know you have you're right. We could open up a whole nother podcast, go deep in all this stuff for sure. Like I said, you've got a lot to share. You got so much stuff you can share. So, but I
Yeah.
know you have a free gift for people to actually maybe experience a sliver of some of the stuff you're talking about. So we want to tell them about your free gift.
Yeah, so I'm offering a 20-minute embodiment reset and to have an experience of that living word transmission. And really, it's just, sharing presence, conscious confirmation of oh, communication, conversation. When I start to speak about it, I start to go there.
You go
So
into
it's
the
like,
channel and then all the words go weird.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there got a lot to say, but yeah, just sharing intentional conversation and any messages that may come through, and singing and sound toning, as well as any kind of energy and belief system work. But it's really more feels very natural of just sharing presence, just really being with someone and creating an environment of safety and peace and grounding and support. And I combine a lot of different skills and talents and abilities that I have to have one just very experiential, beautiful shared moment with someone. So I'm offering 20 minutes of that experience with anyone that would like to, connect or even just talk, have some questions. If somebody asks me questions, it triggers me into channeling and things like that. So anything that I can do to be of support to people, I just love offering that.
Fantastic. Yes. So we're going to put in the links to where you could go ahead and request that. So we're going to put it in the show notes, but it's basically the contact page um, is the way to do it on the website. They're at humanitymeetsbeing.com. So
Human, yeah, human meets being.
oh, what did I say?
Humanity.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going broader. See, I got my own channeler over here. We got to keep it. Yeah, channelers need to keep channelers in line here. Okay, humanmeetsbeing.com /contact /. So, yeah, so go ahead and reach out. Maybe let her know you've heard about this here on this podcast. You're looking for the 20-minute embodied reset session. 20-minute embodied reset session. All right. Yeah, this will bring you clarity, presence, and bring you into more of that natural state of being. How beautiful is that? So, fantastic, Sarah. Thank you. And then I want to share one or two things for you through our energy scan spotlight. You ready to receive?
Oh, gratefully so. Thank you.
All right, let's see what comes through. And everybody else is for you too, because you never know. It's resonant for you too. Well, things are coming through. I'm like, yeah, she knows all this stuff though. So let's see. Okay, hold on. Okay, she may know that too, but let's share some of the stuff because it's fun. So yeah, I get, yeah, definitely the Isis energy coming through, and that you're, that's like your master teacher in a sense. Like, that's where, yeah, I mean, the been a master teacher for many, some people say Jesus and everything. So, but anyway, but again, like, yeah, your dedication has been just so off the charts in so many of these lifetimes. And like, I see you walking out in the desert, like burning your feet and like you're going for endless miles or something. Like all these, so like your dedication, like I could tell people, I read your field, her dedication's real. It's very so I'll just say that as far as that goes. Let's see if we get another download. Hold on. Yeah, I mean I do get that because the transit of the energy that can come through you is so extraordinarily fast. I mean, um, you do want to just keep practicing slowing down. You're constantly working on it. I know, but like you need to continue to slow down because um, that energy is a gift, but it's also could, as you've already experienced, can be a disaster. It could be like, oh my God, how did that happen? How did this happen? Things start happening because people would say you're ungrounded. Yeah, but it's
Right.
it's a little different with you the way it comes through and the it's like it's a motor turns on, it's like it's like it won't shut down sometimes it seems like, right? And so you have to practice that presence you talk about. So we're always teaching what we need to learn more of too, right? But like a being more deeper in the deep presence, right? Because we get so fascinated by that stuff coming through, right?
Yes, it's a
The
lot.
days
It's
up writing
powerful.
and journaling and everything. So that's what I'm just getting is just keep practicing slowing down. So like I said, may not be stuff you haven't heard before, but that's what I was guided to share with you today.
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate that. It's definitely like a divine faucet that downpours and it's just instant and strong. And I've been working on the cells of my body literally vibrate. Like I start to vibrate because it's just like so much energy coming through. So to be able to kind of slow that stream a little bit and yeah, that would definitely on the list and appreciate your both of your beautiful messages. On my website, you'll see there's a section about me where I talk about this other soul aspect and the word Genesis that means a lot to me, and it's Gene Isis and how that's within us and that
Yeah.
activation that's happening. She's a beautiful guide for many through the shift right now. So thank you so much for both of those messages. Very well received.
I did hear about Egypt, but I hadn't gone to her site and seen that stuff yet. So, but that's just what came through. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, I just joke around because people are like, well, "Yeah, you read her website, you do this, you do." No, people aren't too skeptical that listen in, but you never know, right? So for fun, I have to bring that out. But anyway, if you want to connect with me, go to yoursacredpurpose.com. We're constantly reminding you when the next show is coming out. You don't want to miss that kind of fun, right? So make sure you go ahead and get your free meditate, make money meditation. You get your downloads. You get your, oh my God, this is what my guides are telling me. Oh my God. And, it's going to open you up and help you to create new abundance and prosperity like it has for a number of people that actually utilize it, and have told me, one of our guests, recently was on, Julia Steggy, even put it in one of her programs. She felt like it helped her so much to build her business. So it's a free gift for you at yoursacredpurpose.com. And once you get on there too, you'll get offers for me to do scans with me if you want, or whatever. I teach you how to scan, and not all it's for free sometimes too. Some of this stuff is free offerings. Come learn how to scan, get scanned, and so there's all kinds of fun stuff you'll gain by going and get access to all that. And like I said, you want to be hearing from me, right? It's fun to hear from Daniel, right? So go ahead and take advantage of it. Yoursacredpurpose.com. All right, so Sarah, I'm going to give you the last word. And so, yeah, any last words you want to share with the audience today?
Oh, just just be anchored in that centered place of love, grounding within yourself and rising within yourself at the same time. And just continue to go within and know that you're so supported And it's not about being perfect, and it can be so much more simpler and fun. So embrace being a silly human and let's have fun together. And I'm so grateful for being here. And thank you all for listening. And I look forward to connecting with anyone that feels inspired to reach out. So again, so much gratitude.
Aw. Thank you for all your wonderful sharing and your heart and your frequency and everything you've shared. It's just been really delicious and wonderful. So thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you to our listeners. Like I always say, keep on tuning in and we'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till the next time. You're listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.